Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool Podcast. My name is Rex45, and this evening we got Max. I'm going to jack up your last name.
Flinders.
Thank you, Flinders. It was off the rip.
Yeah.
I'm bad with names,
The Flinders, Flinders, Flanders. It's all over the place. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. It's all good. I'll say Max from here on. So it's Max and Rex from here on. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking time to come on, man. So welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. I'm in North Carolina right now with one of my guys, Russ. He does my electronics. We've been working on the bike most of the evening. I was like, dude, I gotta go. And he's like, oh, okay. So I just came up here and washed up a little bit, and I was like, all right, it's time to talk. Let's go. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh man, that's wild. We'll get into the electronics and the traveling just to get bikes fixed crossing state line, because I've done that a few times myself. But let's talk about how you got into racing, and then we'll talk about how you got where you are now. What was it like for you when you saw your first bike, or decided like, hey, I want to ride a bike? How did you get on the two wheels?
Yeah, I was kind of destined. I was born, and my dad called me Max after Max Biaggi, because the year I was born was the year Max Biaggi won the 250 GP championship. So I'm not saying I was forced into it, but it definitely was in my destiny, So I don't know. I grew up, and I was, my dad put me on a bicycle for the first time, and I just took off. Like, I was gone, and he's like, okay.
Wow.
And then put me on a bike, it up super easily, and he was like, okay. So yeah, I started riding when I was 3.5. I went to my first race at, I think I was 6 in England, and the first race I went to, everyone was on these 50cc KTMs and insane like Husqvarnas and all these cool things, and I was on a PW50, which just wasn't in the same category at all. And I remember racing. I didn't care that I was losing, but I wanted to beat them, even though I was on a slower bike. And I ended up, my wheel got stuck in a rut, and I did like a front flip and face planted, and I got hurt. No, I was only 6, so I was crying. I was like, And my mom's like, he's never gonna want to do that again. And then the next day, I was up at 5 a.m. like, are we going to the race? We going? And we going? And my mom's like, what the heck? So yeah, that was kind of it from there. I got a trophy for best crash that weekend. That was kind of cool.
Okay.
I was just hooked and just kept racing, man.
Oh man. And so let's talk about, you said you were kind of, your dad got you into it in the sense of, gave you a name after Max Biaggi. I mean, I know it's like for my kids, like they play tennis and they were young enough that they don't have any memory of not having a tennis racket in their hand. So, was it early on? And, you mentioned that, you learn how to ride a bicycle really quick. I mean, like literally like 5 minutes really quick, or, by the end of like a day, you were going down the road and good to go.
Well, obviously, like, we had the stabilizers at first, but my mom and dad, I think they put me on a bike, and I was like, obviously, I think like 2 or something. And I just took off. Like, they put me on it, and I took off. And my dad said, we took you on this really long straight road, and you just kept going to the point where we didn't even see you. And so dad had to chase me down. So he's like, we knew. And then he's like, as a kid, he was like, he always knew that I wanted to, like, if I was walking, I had to be in front of people, or like I had to be in front, because like, I was like, I got to be in the front kind of deal. So he always knew I was kind of wired that way and stuff.
Yeah.
After like, I think a month of riding my bicycle, my freaking stabilizers were bent upwards because I've been leaning the thing over and stuff. And yeah, I was like, I think when I was 3, my dad was like, hey, we're going to go and take your stabilizers off. And he goes, we're going to take you out and see what we're doing. So I was doing that and stuff. And then my sister just started riding a PW50 then. So I was jealous. I was like, dude, I want to ride. I don't want my sister riding. I want to ride it. And my dad's like, look, as soon as you ride your bicycle with no hands and you got all the balance, I want you to ride no hands down the street, back and forth.
Wow.
without touching the handlebars, we'll put you on a bike. And dude, I went out and just freaking rode. I fell so many times. So I was like, I'm not gonna. So I finally did it. And my dad's like, all right, let's go. And he took me out to this big field, did some basic stuff. You know, he's like, all right, start here. I'm going to walk over there. You're going to ride to me and stop. And then we did that. And he's all right, now you're going to do a big circle, come back to me and stop. And then we did a figure eight and then stop. And then he's like, okay, just do whatever you want. And then I was zooming around. So yeah, it came pretty easily to me, to be honest. I just had good balance on like a bike. And I started racing at 6. And then my first championship was at 8. And then I got 2 more championships at 9 and another 2 at 10. And it was, it was kind of crazy.
Right. And and I don't know if you mentioned this already, but you're doing this in the UK, and your family's in the UK at this point, right? And so you're 6 years old, you're ready to go ride in. Did your dad just start training you to go racing after that point, to build up your skills to where the time you got to 8, you got your first championship? And what was that training like?
Yeah, my dad, we got very lucky. We moved to a new area in England, and we had it was pretty much a flat track near us, and it was called Shobnall. And we went there. It was open every Saturday, and we went there every Saturday. My dad woke me up. He says, we're going to track. And I would ride from about 8 in the morning to like 1 in the afternoon every Saturday.
Wow.
And then my dad, he was watching all these great riders. He loved the American riders. He loved Wayne Rainey. He loved Schwantz. He loved all these guys coming over, and the Hayden brothers, all those guys, Ben Spies. And most of the guys grew up doing flat track. So my dad's like, look, if you can get that feel and like slowing the bike around, like that seems to be the way to go. So that's when we went. And eventually the guy who ran the organization came to my dad's like, dude, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm getting too old. Do you want to take it over? Since my dad was so passionate. So then my dad started running this flat track thing and training people and everything like that. And I was kind of like his demonstrator. He's like, all right, we need to do this, this, and this. Max, go show him how to do it real quick. So then I was like the demonstrator at 7 years old, and I was teaching kids that were like 14 and 15. And at the end of the day, we always had a mock race, and my dad would set me challenges. Like he would start me a half a lap back, and like it was really fun. I had a great time growing up, and we had like an infield. It had jumps, it had stairs, it had one of those balance ramps where you go up one side and it drops and you go down, just to like teach you all these really good bike skills. So my bringing up was every Saturday I was riding, having a great time. And it was just, I think that's what got me to the level when I started grass track, which is pretty much flat track, but on grass with knobbly tires. And I picked it up. The first year I did it, I think I ended up 3rd in the championship. The second year I did it, I was 2nd. And then the third, I was 1st. And then I went 1 year undefeated, actually. I didn't lose a race.
Oh, wow.
And it was like it was really cool. I'm not going to lie. It was definitely one of my best years of racing. And it was awesome. Everyone kind of got fed up with me on the 65 and 85 two-stroke. And I won both classes. And the 85, I could barely touch the ground. I had like one leg over it like this, and I'd have to jump on for the start. And it was really cool. But my dad definitely put me in the right programs and kept me on a bike and put me in certain situations where I definitely developed my skills really quickly. And I was able to do really well in England in flat track and grass track and stuff. So it was really cool.
Nice. And then from that, what made you decide to now go to road racing? And did people just got tired? You just went into too many championships. They kind of pulled your license and kicked you out of the grass track.
No, it was we had an opportunity to go to America. My dad got a job offer over here, and so we came. He got a job in Mississippi at the NASA base there. So we moved to Louisiana, And we came out here and we were like, all right, let's go flat track because that's the closest thing to grass track. But that was a shock because we showed up and everyone like these hand cut slicks. They're on bikes that are like amazing. And I'm on a 85 with knobbly tires, no clue, like no setup for this. It was just like I showed up like what the heck, and I was out there with like Nick McFadden, Jake Lewis, and like some of the like good guys that are like killing it now. And I remember the first year I was here, I got third nationally with this just random bike, and everyone's like, "What the heck is going on?" And I was just like, riding. So I remember at the last nationals, it was a half-mile race, and I was just learning. We put hand-cut slicks on it for the first time, and the first heat event, I was like 7th. The second heat event, I was like, I think 3rd, and then we went to the finals because I made the cut, and I was leading the race for the first 5 laps, and then my bike blew up.
Wow.
But after that, Dad was looking at like the cost of everything and the travel, and he's like, our end goal was road racing. Like Dad wanted to do the road racing scene, and I've been watching MotoGP. I was 1,000% a Valentino Rossi fan. I've been watching him since I was tiny. Like I loved watching him, so it was really cool. Even when he was beating up on Max Biaggi, which I'm named after, so I was like, but it was cool. And then the cost traveling America, like it's a massive country, like it's so. And he was like, the cost for flat track's about the same as road racing. So at that time, USGPRU had the Milwaukee Cup come out, and Dad got me one for Christmas and started road racing. And I think we went out there, and I think my first race, the freaking names in it, man, like it was Garrett Gerloff, Stefano Mesa, Grayson Gerloff, Garrett's brother, Jake Lewis, Ben Young, and like all these guys. And Ben Young's a Canadian champion. Garrett Gerloff's in World Superbikes. Jake Lewis won the Superstock Championship. Like all these guys are like good riders. So yeah,
right.
Them, and I was always like behind them, and I'd catch up, and then they'd step up to like 600s, and then I would be winning, and then I'd jump to 600s, and they'd be ahead of me again, and stuff like that.
Gotcha. And what year was this, roughly?
I was 12 years old. So what year was that? 2008, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you're 12 years old and you're on a small bike and trying to chase these guys around. And wow, that's pretty wild. And so what was the series like? And like, how many rounds were you able to do when you looked at the cost of, flat track versus road racing and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I think the thing was flat track had way more events. So they were like every 2 weekends, and they were like, you'd be in Georgia, then you'd be in Wisconsin, then you'd be in Tennessee, then you'd be in Kentucky. So it was a lot of drive, especially from Louisiana. So like that cost of travel was actually more than road racing, which we only did the East Coast rounds. And so, we were at Jennings, and we were at Roebling Road, IR and stuff like that. So we did that, and we did one West Coast round, which I think was Salt Lake City. I forgot what the track's called, like Miller or something, but it changed a lot. I forgot what it is now, but yeah, we ended up doing that, and the cost was it was less. I mean, we were running a 250 Milwaukee. That thing was bulletproof. Like we ran all year, not an engine swap, nothing, just oil, and that was it. So thing was bulletproof. I learned a lot, and then obviously I think a year after that I won the championship in that, and then a year after. So
you're like 14 at this point? 13,
14 I think. And then when I was 15 I won the championship, and then I got second in 2 other championships. Was the 250 GP class, which was 250 two-stroke bikes. So like shouldn't even be competing with them, but I was. And then it was the open lightweight class as well. But there was this one kid in there who had a 125 that was just, it was insane. Like it was so fast, and like it was nutty how fast that thing was. So I just couldn't really keep up with him. I tried, but it just couldn't make it. And then yeah, I kept doing that. And then 15, that's when I got the 2 seconds and a first in the championships. And then when I was 16, it was time to go road racing with the 600. So I stepped up to the 600. We joined AMA, and I started racing that, and it was really cool. It was really sick. So.
And so, what was life like for you as a kid coming from the UK? Was it Louisiana you moved to? You said.
Yeah, it was different. I mean, like, Louisiana is a different place, man. It's just a different place completely. So the culture shock was a bit different. I came into class and I started school, and I was actually ahead because of England. So I skipped a grade. Yeah. So I was in a grade. I was 12, and like everyone was 13. So everyone was like
in 8th grade,
and I was still. Yeah, and I was just like tiny little guy. Like I was the smallest, and then like people liked me a lot, but they wanted me to talk and say this and that, and I got sick of it after a while. And I was a sarcastic kid. So so what? I'm not, no lie. These are some of the questions. You've probably had some of these questions too about Jamaica, but like they're like, so what language do you speak in England? And I'm like, what did you just say? And they're like, what language do you speak in England? And I was sarcastic. So I was like, oh, we speak Japanese. And they're like, really? And I'm like, oh goodness me. It was bad. But yeah, it was good. I mean, but the thing with me is too, traveling. I was gone a lot from school. I always made up like the school, but I missed a lot of like the activities, like certain field trips, because like we were going racing and everything. And in high school, I actually had to. We had like Saturday detentions, which is like if you were really bad, you got to come in on Saturday and sit there for like 4 hours. And I wasn't bad. I was a good kid because my dad's like, you got to get A's, not racing. But I missed so much school that I had to come in on Saturday, time up, and it sucked because I was in there like I was a bad kid. I was a joker, and I did certain messed around, but I knew. So I was like, I'd always push my teacher there and then bring it back. Like I never went.
Right.
But I was in there and like some of these kids have been held back 2 years, so they were like men, and I'm like just like this, and they're in there for either fighting or doing drugs in the bathroom, and I'm just like,
right.
Guess. But I didn't. They didn't know I was in there, so I got pretty good street cred from that. I'm not gonna lie. So
okay, there you go.
Kind of funny.
And homeschooling wasn't. I mean, back in 2008, 2010, homeschooling wasn't an option.
That's the thing. My mom's actually a teacher, so we did think about it, but I don't know. My dad was like, "No, I want you to go to school. He wants you because he wanted. We just moved to this country. I didn't have friends.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Here until he wanted me to make friends, and he wanted me to join, extra curriculum things, and he wanted me to get good grades. And also, I don't know what it is. I think it's all kids. No kids want to listen to their parents. Like they'll listen to anybody else, but their parents are just like, nope, I'm not. I don't want to learn from you. So. Yeah, I think there was a lot of that in there too. But no, I'm glad I went to high school. It was tough, like missing tests and coming back and have to take them after school and all that kind of stuff. But worth it. It's like I'll keep my grades up, I'll finish high school, and then I'm going to be racing. So
got you.
It's cool.
And what did your classmates think of you going off and racing? Because they must have been asking, "Hey, how come you're not in school, right?" And what was that conversation like with your classmates and stuff? Like they must have been a little nosy.
The thing is, it was weird because like saying that you were going racing and you're a champion and you're winning this stuff, like it comes off very braggy, and I wasn't very braggy, so I was like, oh yeah, I race motorcycles, and then they'd ask about it. But unfortunately, in Louisiana, they don't really know about it. There's no real tracks there. They made NOLA Motorsports there after a while, but I mean, it was kind of big, but not really. So like every time I said I race motorcycles, they thought dirt bikes, motocross, that kind of stuff. And I was like, no, I race street bikes, this, that. And I'd show them, like, oh, cool, but they didn't really understand it, and so it's just kind of like, oh yeah, he goes racing. That was it. It was more that I was British than anything. They didn't really care about the racing. They're like, oh, it's the British kid. I don't think I had a name in school until like I left, because they were like, it's the British kid. I'm say this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay.
There's a saying about Jamaicans. I was giving. There's a saying about Jamaicans always giving people whatever their title is. So somebody, you just call him the plumber or he's the mechanic. You never call them by their name. So
right.
I can see that in kids, doing that and stuff like that. So now you moved up to the 600 class. You've been winning championships and stuff for a very young age. So were you a little bit nervous moving up to the class, or what were your thoughts when you decided to go AMA? Was it just a foregone conclusion that like I'm just going to get comfortable and I'll be up front?
Yeah, I kind of thought, it's like, to be the best, you got to race the best. And like I said, I was always chasing the Stefanos, the Gerloffs, the Lewises, the Haydens, like all these guys. I was chasing, and like I never got to race them. And so I joined this class, and Gerloff and Lewis were winning. They were battling up front on R6s and Suzukis, like going crazy. And I joined this class, and I got humbled quick, because AMA, I don't know if people understand this. I know there's a lot of people out there who, do Wera, Azure, CCS, that kind of stuff. But when you get into AMA, MotoAmerica, like the level is insane. Like I can run lap times at Barber that would put me like leaps ahead of a lot of people. But when I go with MotoAmerica, my lap time's slow. Like it's insane how fast these guys are. So I jumped into it head first, and I was battling for like 18th. Like I was at the back. I was trying, we're on a not tuned R6 that my dad had. It was his old street bike, and he's just like, screw it, we're going to turn it into a race bike. And that's what it was. So I was learning, I was figuring out, like the first time I was racing, I didn't even have a quick shifter on it. Like it was it's just like out of the shed. This is what it is. So, it was difficult. I didn't like losing. It was really hard to lose. So I was struggling with that. And then we had one race at New Jersey in the rain, and I think that's the best I did. I got up to 7th, and I was coming like gonna get to the front, and they red flagged it. And I was like 6 laps. I just passed like 3 people. I had Valentin de Beast in front of me, like chasing him down. And I was like, let's go. And it was red flag. And I was like, dang it. So I was pretty upset about that. But then unfortunately at the end of that year, my dad's like, dude, I've given you everything I can. He's like, I don't have the money to take you racing anymore. And he was like, my dad's distraught, obviously. Like he's my dad. He wants to provide for me. But he's like, if you don't get on a team, or if you don't get just, we're done. And I was like, think. And then I think it was the last round at Alabama, I got an opportunity arose. Their rider wasn't able to ride, and they're like, hey man, the XR 1200s are riding, we need a rider. And luckily I knew the guy Tim Ivanov, who I actually got my race license with, and I saw him around some of like the club racing and stuff. And he's like, hey man, yeah, come on, we need a rider for this XR 1200. This guy can't ride, will you fill in? I was like, heck yeah, I will. And then I was like, my dad's like, this is an opportunity. Like, is technically you like trying out for a team, so don't mess it up. Right. I was like, oh, no pressure. Like, cool. So I went out, and I messed up because the XR 1200s, you're not supposed to tighten the steering damper. You have to ride them loose because their frames were like, those things were crazy. And I turned up the steering damper because I was used to it, and I went into the first corner, and the bike just tank slapped. Like, dang, I'm like, dude, what the heck? And like everyone saw it. It was on TV. One of the other riders came in afterwards and goes, I don't even know how you saved that. And I was like, I don't know either. Like, honestly, it just kind of happened. I wasn't in control.
Sorted itself out.
The whole race, I was just raced the whole race, slapping around and like nearly crashing. And even after all that, I still finished higher than their previous rider had ever finished that year. Yeah, so I thought I came in, I thought I blew it. I was like, what the heck? This bike's horrible. Why did I do that? And they came in like, dude, that's our best finish all year. Da, 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 da. So that was my opportunity. And then they went to NOLA Motorsports, which was my home track at this time, and I loved that track. It was so much fun. And I had another trial. I went to ride it was a Triumph Thruxton, and he's like, look, we're going to put you out in the class. Everyone is cheating, like everyone. This is the only non-cheater bike, but I want to shut everyone up, because he was like, the guy who was sponsoring the team owned like the thing we were doing. And he goes, I want to shut everyone up and show them that you can beat them with a stock bike. And I went out there and I beat them. So it was fun. It was a good time. So then they were like, all right, you're going to be our rider next year. And I was like, yes. But then they got rid of the XR 1200. So like, no more, done. And they're like, oh. And I was like, I just lost my ride I just got. And then they're like, no, we're going to keep doing it, but we want to be on an American bike. We'll see what we can come up with. The only American bike you could ride at that time was an EBR. So we went and started racing stock 1000 at EBR. The first race weekend we did, it was rained again, and I was pretty good in the rain. And I got up to I think I was in 6th in stock 1000, and I high-sided to the moon. And those things, obviously, they don't have the gas tank. The gas tank's in the frame, and then that's the airbox. And that airbox was in 7 million pieces. It was destroyed. And that's when we went bankrupt and shut everything down. So we were like, oh, that sucks. So it was just a lot of bad luck. But at that time, Yamaha was just dominating. So the guys like, well, let's get a Yamaha, go do this. So they got a Yamaha. We started racing, and we've been racing we've raced stock 1000 for 2 years, went to Superbike, and we've been racing Superbike for a lot of years. And man, I've been racing. And that's it.
Wow. So you've been racing with the same team since the Truxton?
Since I think I was 18, I started racing with them, and I've been with them since I'm 28 now. So 10 years. I mean, I love this team.
Dude, how do you do that? I see so many riders that they don't even make a season sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing. Like, my team, we knew what we had, and we were very logistically, they were very smart. Like, the owner is Tim, and he was like, look, we don't have the budgets the big teams have. No one has the budgets the big teams have. So he says, we're going to creep into it. This year, we're going to get this. This year, we're going to get this. This year. So, like, every year, our bike got a bit better. And that's kind of how it went. Like, every year, I was faster. Every year, I was doing better. Every year, like, it just kept progressing. And Tim really just wanted me to keep progressing to the point where someone saw me, and they were like, this guy's getting it. Like, and he wanted me to get picked up and brought to another team, and then he was just going to sit back and watch what I could do. But unfortunately, it was just tough. Rides are limited, like super limited. If you're not winning or like competing at a really high level, like if you're not getting in the top 5 every race, the top teams aren't really looking at you. And I never had the equipment to run in the top 5 because, I mean, we never had the electronics. We still don't have the electronics. I mean, that was it. I forgot the name of it. That Italian electronic company, Morbid.
Yeah, I can look it up and we'll plug it in.
Something like that. Yeah. And but like those guys, they can tune their bike for every yard of the track. So like in this corner, they can have like more traction control. In this corner, more wheelie control. This corner, less traction control. This one, more slide control. Like their bike changes the entire track. And we are just running YEC. And it's pretty much we have to find what works.
This is the change.
Yeah. So it's like, I need more traction control here. I need less traction control here. But we kind of have to go in the middle and just go, you know? So it's tough.
And now, have you thought about racing overseas at all? Going back overseas to race?
I would love to. I would love to go back to like BSB and like, go do something there.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask, because you've been in the AMA MotoAmerica for so long, and with one team, which is awesome because like I said, there's a lot of riders that it's hard to find the team, and we can probably circle back and just kind of what decisions you had to make so you can stick with this team and stuff like that. But was going back overseas an option for you at some point?
I really did want to go back to BSB. I thought that'd be cool, especially with the no electronics. I thought that'd be kind of sick because that was one of our biggest struggles here is we just always struggle with the guys beating us with the electronics. Even if, we were faster than them, at the end of the race, they'd have more tire than us because they weren't sliding their bikes around as much and stuff like that. So I always thought that'd be really cool, but the logistics behind it, like getting bikes there and getting the flights and getting the team and everything, that's a lot of money. If from BSB reached out to me, I was like, hey, man, we really want you to come ride this bike this weekend in, Donington. I would be like, I'm there. And I would go, and my team, they love me to go do that. So I would do it that way or wild card or something. But right now, unfortunately, I don't think that the BSB guys are going to be looking over here and doing that. If they're going to get somebody, they probably get someone from Europe or something to step in because it's so much closer. So it's one of those things. But I would love to just, even if I don't get to race there, I'd love to go do some track days, like hitting that jump at Cadwell Park and like just, go into some of those places would be sick.
Right. So yeah. So okay. Well, hopefully that might happen. Hopefully that might happen. What is your plan for this season? And what sacrifices or I mean, you're where you are today, but I don't. In the beginning, I don't know if you thought you were going to be with this team for so long. So, was it just you being more flexible as a rider with a team that may not be one of the top teams as far as the money they can throw at racing? Or was it more the team being flexible?
The thing with our team is I do a lot for the team. I mean, I'm the truck driver for our team. So like I drive the truck all over the country to all the different rounds because none of the guys do this job professionally. None of them are like motorcycle mechanics. None of them work at like motorcycle dealerships. Like the head guy works for a helicopter company. He's in aviation. My dad was one of the mechanics. He worked for Rolls-Royce, which is an airplane company. The guy, Russ, who's doing our electronics, he works for a wiring company. So he's good with electronics, but this isn't what he does. I mean, and then though across the way, we just have volunteers, like a bunch of friends, fans step up and they come and help us at the track. Like we're a privateer team because we're a privateer team, but I honestly don't know if they could get another rider to do the stuff that I did because, I'm there, the first one setting up, the last one tearing down. I'm driving the truck across the country. I'm my dad's team, I'm a very big part of the team, and like asking another rider to do that is a lot. If they didn't have me, they'd probably, struggle to find somebody to fill my spot. But then also I would struggle to find a team. So it worked really well because I love racing. I want to be part of this team. I want to be in the show. Is it the best bike? No. Is it the best team? No. But like we all want the best for the team. So it works. If I got an offer to go on a team that was better and for the same thing, because a lot of the teams offer me rides, but they're like, hey, you can come join us if you bring 50 grand. And I'm like, I don't have 50 grand to throw at a ride, like I would love that. Right. I would love to be on a better team, but those who offer you a ride want something in return. And if you can get sponsors to give you the 50 grand to get you on that team. That's awesome. But sometimes you want the sponsors that would pay for it conflict with the team that you're going to. And it's a big ordeal. So luckily, I mean, this team, we're family now, and it just kind of keeps going. And it's difficult. It is. I mean, sometimes we butt heads, and since we're so close, like it's hard, but we work. When we work, we work really well, you know.
Nice. And so you're ready for the first round. You guys are ready. Well, you're in North Carolina, working out electronics and stuff like that. So testing is kind of going on right now as well, and you'll be ready for the first round.
Yeah, we got to race in Daytona already because I got picked up by a bagger team 2 years ago, which was really, really cool. My team that I was with was like, yeah, go for it. The more you can ride, the more laps you get, the better everything is. So I did that. I already went to Daytona. Daytona was rough. We blew up 3 motors and I didn't finish the race, so that was very difficult. We just switched to Harley, and so that was a tough one for sure. But we rode at CMP on the R1, and we got some laps in there. And Ben Smith was there. He's on a brand new super bike, and Hayden Gillum was there on a super bike, and so was JD Beach. So like we were all riding together, like picking stuff up. We had some issues with the clutch, so I didn't get to ride as much as I wanted to. But I've been working out today. I've been running today. We're getting this MyLaps electronics thing sorted out on the bike for MotoAmerica. So I'm ready. The bike should be ready. We've got all weekend to work on it. And then, I don't know, we'll just see how it goes at Alabama. Luckily, Alabama is one of my favorite tracks because it's awesome. But I don't know. It's we'll see what shows up when we get there.
Okay, awesome, man. Hopefully, I may be at that round. We'll see if I can get lucky with MotoAmerica getting a press pass. But speaking of press pass,
if you need
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. There's a time delay, but if you need a pass for MotoAmerica, let me know. I'll hook you up for sure.
Okay, that's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Yeah, I'm actually here in Austin now at COTA. Well, I'm at a hotel right now, but COTA for the weekend to catch the MotoGP race. What are your thoughts on what the championship looked like in MotoGP with what the Marquez brothers are doing? It seems like it's Marquez brothers versus VR46 Academy riders. But what are your thoughts on where it is and how close are you watching?
It's I've watched every race so far, and honestly, dude, the Marquezes are just on a new level, man. Those guys came out swinging. They literally came out here and they said, "See if y'all can keep up," and that's it. They've been racing. I mean, Marc Marquez he's got this confidence that I haven't seen since when he was on the Repsol Honda, and it was winning. And when he has that confidence, he's unstoppable. Like, he's just unstoppable. He's an amazing rider. He's feisty. He'll push. He'll stab. He'll do whatever he needs to do to win. And I don't know what happened with Alex Marquez. Like, last year, I mean, he was like top tens and like a little
No.
I don't know. He's really stepped up this. Did it cut out?
A little bit, yeah. So, but yeah, go ahead. You say you didn't know what happened to Marquez, Alex Marquez.
Hold on.
Oh man,
something's going on. All right, I think we're good.
Okay. Now I was gonna say, I was saying, continue to talk about you don't know what happened to Alex Marquez last year and versus this year.
Yeah, he was racing, and like I said, 7th to like 15th-ish, like just kind of in that area, bouncing around. He'd have like a moment of greatness, oh, there he is. And like, I know Marc Marquez always preaches about his brother. He's like, oh, he's faster than me. And like, now I'm like, he's fast. Like, I don't know what they figured out on the Ducati team, but I know they got the 20 tips with it or whatever, but like I said, they're just unstoppable. And that's the thing.
Right.
If they have a thing going on and Mark is like, hey, man, I want to keep winning races, they might pull, some Ricky Bobby stuff and be like, hey, just block for me. Let me go. And like, I don't know how close they are as brothers, but like all of a sudden, Mark could be like just out in front and Alex is behind him, weaving and bobbing and making sure no one can pass. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Bagnaia needs to go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you mentioned that he's right. Marquez is riding like the Repsol days, but those days he was very serious. He was like not smiling at all, even when winning. And like now he can't stop smiling, much less dancing. Right? It's like he's riding the way he's riding, but he looked like he's having so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's because he had. After he broke his arms, obviously, and the race that he broke his arms in, he was so dominant, like it was insane. Like he went back to last and fought his way back to second, and then crashed and broke his arms. And he was passing people like they were standing still. But I think on the Honda, he had to ride that bike hard because the Yamahas were really good back then, and he was just pushing. So it was always difficult for him and stuff. Then he crashed, he broke his arms, he went through all this really down part. And then, a lot of people are like, oh, he'll never be the same. He's not going to be able to do it. Came back to Honda, crashed even more, couldn't do it, made this jump to Ducati. And like the jump to Ducati was his make or break. Like he had to do it. Like it was kind of like he couldn't do it on Ducati. Then he I feel like he was going to retire. And then he jumped on Ducati, did so well. And then now he's like it gave him this ego where he's like, I'm going to win again. And I think that's what that smile is. It's not that he thinks, oh, I may win. He's like, I'm going to win this championship and be a 9-time MotoGP champion. Like it's going to be happening. So like I said, that confidence it's key. I mean, if you can have it, you're going to ride that wave for a long way.
Yeah, it's we'll move on to Pecco in a second, but as I hear you talk about his injury and coming back from his injury and stuff like that, and I know the MotoGP riders usually do a special helmets and stuff like that. But after Marquez had a special tribute helmet, but he has to have some kind of kinship to the U.S. because St. Louis saved his career. His final surgery to fix everything was a doctor in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has to have a kin for America because I mean, he may not have been riding if that surgery didn't work out.
Oh yeah, I definitely think America is one of his favorite countries. Like, I mean, if you think about it, a Circuit of America, he dominated that place for.
Yeah,
I think he won 4 years running, or maybe more.
Oh no, when he got hurt, he stopped winning. So it was like 7 in a row, 8 in a row, or something like that. And then he got hurt.
Yeah, he was the king of Coda, and then he came here and he got his arms fixed. And they got infected. Come back and get them fixed again, and like there's a lot of things that he owes to some people here. And I think he has a great love for America for sure.
But let's talk about Bagnaia and where he's at. And I will say this, and I was watching, I think earlier today I saw this. He's actually running Bagnaia is running a 2025 bike where Marquez is running a 24, a hybrid 24 bike. So there's some struggle there with Bagnaia. But what are your thoughts on where he's at and maybe what he may need to do, or maybe he doesn't need to do anything? Because I mean, if you look at last year's points to this year's points after the first 2 rounds, he's actually ahead. He's ahead. He's having his best first 2 rounds in a long time.
I think Bagnaia starts slower. Like like mid-season is where Bagnaia shines. Like he'll just come in when everyone's kind of all over the place. He comes in and just sweeps, and that's where most of his points come from. But last year, I mean, I love Jorge Martin. He's an amazing rider. I love watching him ride, and he pushes it to the limit. but Martin isn't as steady as Marquez. Marquez finishes more races. He's more strategic. So I think he's got more of an issue on his hands this year. For sure. It's going to be difficult, especially when the guy who's beating you is on the same bike. Well, not the same bike, but the same team. So there's always one rule: you want to beat your teammate. That's the first guy you want to beat. You don't want your teammate to beat you. You want to be better than him. And I know there was an issue with, I think they were talking about Bagnaia maybe going back to the 2024 hybrid thing like Marquez is on, but I think that MotoGP said that's not allowed. They're not allowing it because they're not, I don't know the reasons behind it, but I read something saying that they're not allowing him to do that. So they're going to have to figure out this 2025 bike and make it work. I know Bagnaia is a great rider, but I also think Bagnaia is going to have to take more risks. I mean, the race in Argentina, there was a chance where he could have stabbed at Marquez, Alex Marquez, to getting second. I chased down Mark, and he just didn't do it. Like, he just backed off, and that was his one chance to get through. After that, Marquez was gone. And I was just like, I miss Jorge Martin for that reason, because Martin would have taken that shot. Martin's going to stab and stab like as many times as he needs to get back up to you. So I want Martin back really bad.
Well,
I don't think there's anyone in the paddock right. Okay.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I was going to say, I don't think there's anyone in the paddock right now who's going to do that. Like, no one's going to make that stab. No one wants to step on Marquez's toes and bring him down. We need someone to go in thinking they're better than Marquez. I feel like everyone's kind of like, Marquez is killing it. He's so good. How are we going to beat him? We need someone to be like, I beat Marquez last year.
Okay.
I'm going to beat him again.
Well, unfortunate, we have had technical difficulties with Max's interview and finishing, but we were talking about MotoGP. But I'm hoping to have him on the show with the guys on Vroom Vroom Wednesday to chop it up. So I want to thank him for coming on their show, and I appreciate it. And we'll put all his information out. My name is Rex45. Peace.